Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom. His brother Raya. I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach wa Malak Yahushua. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that go out there and labor on the highways and byways, making their body living sacrifice. In the rain, the tumults, the demons, the uprises, the uproars, they're out there standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that are not out there as of yet, but they're building themselves up by reading, praying, fasting, being diligent, taking notes, being steadfast, doing everything they could do to magnify the name of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty Akwaf in this thing that actually sincerely reverence their husbands, being teachers of good things to the children at home, being quiet, shamefaced, submissive, loving, steadfast, cooking, sewing, cleaning, doing all of the righteous acts of our foremothers, standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty Akwak that are not married as of yet, but they're building themselves up by reading, praying, fasting, being shamefaced, submissive, on fire for the Lord, doing everything she could do to magnify the ministry. And another strong shalom to all of the mighty children in this thing that are abstaining from all lust, concupiscence, and peer pressure, standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. And last but not least, another strong shalom to the whole entire nation that are on fire in the last days, doing everything they can do to magnify the name of the Lord, man. Right? And I'm going to share my screen. If you didn't know, man, all hell is breaking loose, right? In the four corners of the earth. Now, I want to get this quick precept. I want to get Second Esdras, the 9th chapter. Now, so-called Joe Biden, the president of the United States of America, is issuing out a task force, man. And now this isn't just any task force. This isn't the Navy. This isn't the SEALs. This isn't the submarines and the seamen and men that go out there at the so-called waters, the sub-Saharan and all of these different places, and protect it, man. This is a different task force that the United States is issuing out. Now, this task force is literally created to stop, shut down, and hinder the Hebrew Israelites, man, if you did not know. Now, these things and these laws are being pushed, and we have to be watching. If we're not watching and we're folding our hands to sleep, man, this day is going to catch us unaware. Now, I'm going to start at 2nd Esdras chapter 9, because the Lord told you what to watch for in the end of the world. So you can't say at the end of the world you didn't know, or you didn't know what was going on. It says, it's 2nd Esdras chapter 9 and verse number 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, we're seeing earthquakes already. These things already happen. And uproars of the people in the world. You got uproars in China, uproars in North Korea. You got uproars in Italy, man. You got uproars in Ukraine and Russia and the United States. They're uproars of the different nations, man. These things are happening right now. It says, then shall thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. It says, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So the Lord told you that the end is manifest. The Most High is declared unto you by the servants, the prophets, through the similitudes, right, through the visions, and through the parables, these things that are happening in the last days. Now, I'm about to share my screen and go into it. Now, this is the newspaper The Hill, right? It says Biden established government task force to combat anti, and we're not going to say the word because they're shutting down YouTube channels. It's probably the second time or the third time, rather, that our YouTube channel has been shut down. Now, this is Biden. It says President Biden will establish a task force. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what task force means, we're going to go into that word because you may not know. This is the definition of a task force. The definition of a task force is an armed force. So Biden is creating an armed force. organized for special operations. What is that special operations? To shut down the words of God, man. To stop the Israelites on the highways and byways from teaching the truth. I don't think this word has not reached the four corners of the earth, man. Everybody's getting shooken up, man. Now, has it reached every soul that needs to be sealed yet? No. But nevertheless, this word is all the way in Jamaica. It's in Taiwan. It's in Italy. It's the United States. It's in Central America. It's all over the world right now, man. And Biden and these world leaders understand that this truth is getting out. It used to be a mystery and a similar to who the Israelites are. It used to be a dark, dark, dark secret. But now these things are being manifest, man. Let me get the book of Romans, right? Chapter 16 and verse 25. It says, now to him that is of a power to establish you according to my gospel and preaching of Yahushua, according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret since the world began. So the Lord said that there were certain things that were kept secret since the world began. Meaning from the beginning of time, certain parables and certain prophecies didn't unfold until the last times. That's how we know we living in the last times. It says, but now is made manifest. Now, right now, these different things are being made manifest. And it's not just to the elites. Because the elites know what's going on, man. They know we're the Israelites. It's all in Hollywood. They mocking us. And other elites are probably watching these movies and laughing. These niggas don't even know that it's talking about them. These Negroes have no understanding. You even got Ishmael at the damn liquor stores, man. Understanding who we are. Elam, Moab, all of these different nations that come over here, they know their history and ours. We're the only people that are the butt end of the joke. And by the scriptures of the prophets, according to the commandment of the everlasting God, made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. So like the Lord said, there's certain things that were kept secret. Now, this task force, it says a unity, a union specialized, right? Specially organized for tasks. So a task force, man, it's a military structured. Look at this. They're armed, whether it be AK-47s, M16s, all type of guns with switches and automatics. And their prime focus, we're about to read it. It says President Biden will establish a task force to coordinate government efforts to address and we know the word, and other forms of religious bigotry. So he's creating a task force that's going to be armed to, as he says it, or as America says it, rather, to coordinate efforts. What does it mean to coordinate, man? What's the word coordinate even mean? To get in line. He's going to try to get us in line, man. Now, we all know this is leading into martial law. This is leading into the end of the days. It's leading into the crash of the economy and the freedom of speech and the famine of the word to be kicked off, man. And we understand these things. Let me get this quick. All right. Let me look that word up. Now, coordinate definition. To make many different things work effectively as a whole. We need someone to coordinate the whole campaign. So when did the Lord say for the so-called white man to coordinate the Israelites? And this isn't bigotry, man. It's the truth. You just don't like to hear that we're better than you. The Lord said in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6, we're above all people. That's not hate speech. They say that we won ancient wars and we overtook the so-called white man and chopped his head off and raised it before our whole nation is a fact. It's the truth. It's biblical. It actually happened. So you don't hate us. You don't hate what we're saying. You essentially hate the Most High. Because these words that are speaking to you, they are spirit and they are life, man. So you actually hate Yahushua. You hate the king. You hate the so-called black Messiah. That's what you really hate. But nobody's going to come out and say that. Because the same way we're pawns and we're vessels to fulfill our heavenly Father, the same way the so-called white man is a vessel and a pawn by the spiritual demon Satan. to push witchcraft, lies, idolatry, wickedness, and sorcery in high places. It says the White House said Monday, in the wake of the rise in anti, heretic from high profile public figures, Biden is creating an interagency group led by staff of Domestic Policy Council and the National Security Council. So, I mean, this man is creating a whole line of a new government solely set forth to come out on the highways and byways. You know what that's going to do? That's going to stir up more spirits, more problems. And a lot of brothers are going to stop teaching the truth in the last days, man. It's getting too hectic out here. I heard the last brother down M Street got shot because he didn't put the posters up. You know what? Let's just be smart. Let's stop teaching the words of life. And the last time I checked, the apostles was getting locked up, man. They got stoned. They got beaten. And they was praising the Most High in the process of these things, man. Let's get the book of Acts, chapter 5, real fast. So it's going to get extremely hard in the last days. And that's not talking about hard that you just got to increase your faith. This isn't Christianity. Hey, brothers are going to get locked up for this thing. Sisters are going to get locked up for this thing. Brothers might be killed for teaching the truth. We see it happening. You can't say this caught you like a thief in the night, man. Your so-called United States government is creating a task force solely to stop the words of God. It says this is the book, and they could cover it up and say LGBT. They could cover it up and say, Asian hate speech and sprinkle a little Amalek hatred in there. They could try to cover it up, but we know the truth, man. You can't fool the elect. This is the book, Acts chapter 5 and verse 40. And to him to him they agreed, and when they had called the apostles and beaten them, they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Hamashiach Wamalak Yahweh the King. So they commanded, just like the government is going to command for you not to say certain things. You can't say this word. You can't speak this. And they had a Negro Bible, man. And they didn't have Exodus in the Negro Bible. They didn't have certain things in the Negro Bible because they knew that if you read this, that it would stir up the people. And what would it do when you stir up the people? What happens when the people get stirred up? They're ready to die. They're ready for war. And the so-called white man's manipulation and his mind control wants you to be boxed in with the society and the establishment to corrupt your mind, man. And if you're not going with his world system, you're looked at as a what is it, man? A rebel, man. It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 13, and verse 5. It says, now, therefore, be it far from me that I should spare my own life in any time of trouble. So the men of the Lord in the ancient world, they said, look, hey, the apostles, they ain't give a damn, man. Straight up. Hey, Simon, he didn't care, man. Judas Maccabeus, Jonathan, these men didn't care. Not because they were rebels of the society and they just hated the so-called white man. Their vehement desire to fulfill the Most High's commandments and words and prophecy to unfold was more important, man. And it's bigger than you, man. It's bigger than your life. It's bigger than your wife or your children, man. This is for the nation and for the Most High. He says, for I am no better than my brethren. I mean, if my brethren died, so will I for this truth. Doubtless, I will avenge my nation. Right? Now I'm going to jump down to the point. Now he's given a speech. Now verse 7 is the point. Now as soon as the people heard these words, their spirit revived. Meaning when these words start to be spoken, it does something to our spirits. It jacks us up. It revives us. It has us ready for war, death, to be made a sacrifice, whatever it takes. These spirits, it arouses the elect up, huh? Now, the same way fearful, being timid, being scared, right? Of this society, you'll trust in oppression. You'll get the jab. You'll go to their concentration camps. You'll bow down to their understanding and their words, man. But the men of the Lord, the elect, they're not doing these things, nor will they. Now it says in the article, this strategic, right, strategy will raise understanding about you know what, and the treat it posed to the Jewish to Amalek community and all Americans. Address, you know what, harassment and abuse, both online and offline. So this task force is not only just for the offline, but it's also on online. And I was doing some research, right, going into these different I was going to create a breakdown on it. I don't want to jump the gun, but you have different alliances, military alliances, as brothers know, and you have this alliance which is called Five Eyes. Let me go into it. Brothers may not know it's an alliance called Five Eyes. Now, Five Eyes, they watch you, man. Look at this. America with an eye on it. They're watching you. Don't think America's not watching you, man. You got alliances fully based on tracking what you do, tracking your internet uses, tracking your phone, tracking damn where you work. They're tracking your damn woman. They're tracking your kids. Okay, he's transferred into another school. You got that? Bink, 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 going to the World Wide Web, man. It says, what is Five Eyes Alliance? Five Eyes nations include Canada, Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and the United States. The genesis, meaning the beginning of the idea, was born from the UK-USA agreement, which above countries agreed to cooperate for signals and intelligence. So you got signals from the United States going to Canada, and people in Canada going to Australia, people from Australia going to New Zealand, people from New Zealand going into the United Kingdom. And this is just the five that we have now. And that's going into what? The internet, man. Your phone usage. Every video call you're on, every single time you talk on the phone is being recorded, man. Now you can't just say, well, these things are happening, just because or because I got a warrant out for my arrest. I'm on the damn wanted list, man. The United States most wanted list. No, these things are happening right before our eyes. Everyone tuning in right now is being tracked, and we know these things. In the same way wickedness is increasing, that wickedness isn't always murder and bloodshed, man. That's also technology and sorcery. Now, going back to it, it's telling you that the United States is telling you that it's tracking you, but it's tracking the word, harassment and abuse online and offline to seek to prevent attacks and incidents and encourage a whole of society efforts to counter anti. And when it means efforts to counter, I mean, if you're an armed force, there's no other way the so-called white man knows how to do other than bloodshed, man. When it's the so-called white man made a contract and he kept it, and he did everything according to as it was written, and he kept his commandment. It says, and build more inclusive nation. And you're not going to do that because this place is finished, man. He's trying to patch up something that's already destroyed. Let me go to the book of Isaiah, the 19th chapter. As soon as Jake come out of this place and understand that this place wants you dead, they don't care for you, and everything that you're associated with, if you're not in this truth, is nothing but manipulation and lies. I mean, you're going to forever be a captive in the mind to the society, man. This place is like the Matrix. You tap into this. That's what the Lord said, rise up, ye fair one, and come away. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 19. We're going to go straight to it. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, and I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, and the water shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be waste and dried up. So Egypt is going to be finished. Everything's going to dry up. You can't continue to patch up this place with different military alliances and forces and laws, man. It says, and they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be imputed and dried up, and the reeds and flags shall wither, and paper reeds by the brooks by the mouth of the brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither. Meaning everything a brook is, we know what a brook is, right? Comes down, you got the water, everything sown by the waters is going to wither away. And if anything is sown by the waters, it's supposed to bring forth fruit and grow for a tree. But the Lord said, no matter how much you sow into this place and it's by the brooks, it's still going to fade, be driven away, and be no more. The fishers also shall mourn. Who are the fishers of the society? Everybody that's putting into the society. They're putting in work. Your business, your lawyers, your so-called doctors, men that are working and fishing in the society. They shall mourn because they're not going to get anything out of it. And all they that cast angle into the brooks shall lament. And they that spread nets upon the water shall languish. Moreover, they that work and find flack, and they that weave needleworks shall be confounded. So the Lord said, this place is down. The economy, the US dollar, and the government, is everything is in threat. You don't even have power of your own country or nation, huh? Now, what society didn't have power over their nation, right? What society or what ruling class didn't have power over their own damn kingdom, huh? The Persians and Medes. The Perso-Medo Empire, it fell and it cracked right before their eyes. Because that politics, it all went down the drain. And politics is how the society is ran. And America's politics is down the drain, man. It's moving in the same spirit of the Perso-Medo Empire. Let's go to the book of Bel and the Dragon, man. Verse 28. And this is America, because America is ancient Tyre, Zidon, it's Egypt, it's Perso-Medo, it's Greeks, it's the Romans, it's Egypt, it's all of these in one. This is the book of Bel and the Dragon. I'm going to start at verse 28. It says, and when they of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation and conspired against the king. So the people of the Perso-Medo Empire was expiring against the king. And that's exactly going on right now. You got people breaking into houses and buildings, and Biden, he's plucking out his hair. He doesn't know what to do. He's creating task force and government, and damn, how do I keep my damn nation in order? It's the same thing from old, saying the king is become a Jew, and he have destroyed Baal and has slain the dragon and put the priest to death. So they came to the king and said, deliver us Daniel, or else we would destroy thee in thine house. So the men of his own society and a political alliance that he had in the Perso-Medo Empire, they said, look, deliver us Daniel, or we're going to kill you, man. That's Second Esdras, the 15th chapter. And they're not going to regard kings. They're not going to regard rulers. Used to be afraid of Nebuchadnezzar. He was the god of the earth, like the scriptures say. And you would bow, a lot of men would bow down when they heard the flute and the tabret, and they would respect the king, man. You respected on the left-hand side Alexander the Great, or he'll kill you, man. You respected certain men that had rulership. Seleucus, Ptolemy, right? Certain generals, but certain men, as the kingdom goes down to the feet and the toes, the political thing is finished. It says, or else we would destroy thee in thine house. Now, when the king saw that they pressed him sore, what king should be pressed? That's how you know this place is finished, man. A Perso-Medo Empire was finished. Maybe they had strong military alliance to go to war, but their political structure was down the drain. I'm not impressed by the ICBM missiles that the United States possesses, man. How is your political party going, man? How are you running your society? Because last time I checked, people are breaking into houses, breaking into places, stealing food. The dollar's dropping. The economy is a big, important part of how the government is run. It says being constrained, he delivered unto them. He delivered Daniel unto them. So he got pressed out, man. His own people pressed him out. So, I mean, in this society, you have to run it a certain way. And we know through the spirit, the way this party and government is being ran by Joe, the old man, is going down. Nobody respects him. Now, I want to get another article. Before I go into that, I wanted to look at martial law. and what martial law is, right? So we got martial law. Martial law involves the temporary substitution of the military authority. So people put a big spirit on martial law, like it's a drum roll, like it's about to happen. Brother, martial law has been happening since I don't know how long in different parts of the earth. There's not an exact day martial law is going to kick off, man. Martial law has already happened before. It says the U.S. So like it has the U.S. had martial law. In the United States, martial law has been used in limit number of circumstances, such as, and the list goes on. So don't think martial law isn't going to be right around the corner. This isn't some big drum roll and some big damn day, man. You're putting a spirit on it. Notice the economy is crashing very slowly right before your eyes, and martial law is going to get kicked out. And when the police kick off with martial law and with the task force, while you're teaching the words of God, what are you going to do in that day, man? Are you going to bow down to the society? Are you going to crumble and not teach the words of God? Are you going to hide? Are you going to tuck in your fringes like certain camps do, man? What are you going to do? Because you have a decision to make. You either teach the word of God blameless. Hey, Judas Maccabee said, I'm not going to stain my honor. And when he said that, he knew he was going to die. He knew the chances that he had was against him. But he still didn't want to stain his honor, man. Your honor is your name. That's going to last forever. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 10 and verse 7. Let me get this real fast. Let me get the book of Isaiah. Right? Chapter 36. And verse number 6. And it reads, Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt. Meaning the Israelites of old were trusting in the staff. Your staff is your strength. The staff is supposed to lead you. It's supposed to direct you. It's supposed to show you. Like the Lord said, thy staff, it comforteth me, man. In the book of Psalms, the 23rd chapter. So a staff is supposed to lead you and direct you. But Israel, on the left-hand side, they were trusting in the staff of this broken reed. Meaning this thing is broken, but yet you're still trusting in it. It says, whereon if a man lean, I mean, if you put all your trust and you put all your spirit and your mind in the society, it will go into his hand and pierce it. Meaning the Lord is going to kill you for trusting in this thing. Getting sticked with his poisons, going with his establishments, breaking down to his customs, with his religious economy and all of these different things. The Lord said it's going to pierce right through you. Meaning it's going to kill you. It says, so is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust him. And who's the new Pharaoh? And what's the new Egypt? Babylon the Great. And the king, man. Right? Let me go back to this thing. Now, also, the Pharaoh, the FB, can't say certain things. But it says hate crimes report paints incomplete picture. Now, I wanted to bring out this as well.
Loomed over our politics for years now and taken on new importance in the wake of the midterms. What is the state of extremism in this country? It's a question that isn't easy to answer, and one widely followed report that is supposed to give us some clues into a key component of extremism in America has itself only raised more questions. Every year, the FBI releases its annual report on hate crimes, and this year, experts were expecting it to show a significant rise in incidents across the country, but the report out this morning is, in a phrase, woefully incomplete. According to the Bureau, more than 7,200 hate crimes were reported to the FBI last year, but experts say that represents just a fraction of the actual number. Because the statistics are from just 65% of police agencies who reported their data to the FBI, down from 93% the previous year. And some of the largest club in Colorado, combating violent ideologies is an issue that the Biden administration says is high on its priority list.
It's high on its priority list.
DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas spoke at an event on combating anti-Semitism in New York just this morning.
Our work continues. We hope to one day, of course, eradicate hate. To this end,
and they want to eradicate hate, man. Amalek
can can reach out, use our convening power, and bring people together. As we do so, we will continue to dedicate ourselves to keeping our community safe and secure.
Joining me now is NBC News correspondent Jacob Soboroff. He sat down with Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas as part of a News Now special on anti-Semitism in America. NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delanian. And in a moment, I'll be joined by Cynthia Miller-Idris, the founding director of American University's Polarization and Extremism Research Lab. Ken, let me start with you. Break down what we have learned from this report and where it falls short. There are still a lot of questions, right?
That's right, Kristen. I wouldn't say we've learned very much, because with only 65% of police departments reporting, you really can't draw many conclusions from the numbers that the FBI provided today, except that they counted an aggregate number of 7,200 hate crimes, which, even though that's incomplete, would be the third highest in a decade. But most private experts who've studied this say that they believe that 2021 was a record year for hate crimes, and that 2020...
They're saying these hate crimes that now the FB, has to start getting involved with their intelligence. And they're tapping in with all of these hate crimes. Now, with these hate crimes, I want to go into it. They're going to push a lot of this on us. You can't be fools or think that we're just going to continue to say things like, you're going into slavery, the Lord is going to kill you, a death to America. This place is going down. Your economy is crashing. And now, to the so-called white people, these are threats, man. They don't know scriptures. They don't know prophecy. They don't know what's going on. So when these things start to happen and unroll, what do you think they're going to do, man? They're going to think we subconsciously have a hand in what we've been speaking about this whole time, when really it's the Most High's program. It's the Most High's prophecy. The Most High's controlling this thing, man. And they're going to look at these things, and who are they going to hold accountable? The Israelites, man. Now, I want to get a little bit more on this.
The data, because the FBI changed its reporting requirements to a more complicated methodology that they say ultimately will tell us more about crime, but it's more difficult for local police departments to comply with. And although they've had years to figure out how to do this, many have not done it yet. And so not only local cities like New York and LA did not report anything, major parts of big states like Florida and California didn't report. And so we just have an incomplete picture of the situation with hate crimes. By the way, this reporting problem also surfaced when the FBI put out its aggregate level of crimes a few months ago, but they used estimates to fill the gaps. They're not able to do that with hate crimes because there aren't enough hate crimes. So we really have an incomplete picture.
Well, Ken, let me follow up with you, because when you're talking about major cities like New York and LA, the expectation is they would be able to report out these statistics.
And what are the hate crimes? The hate crimes are on the LGBT, we know. The hate crimes are so-called Asian hate. The hate crimes are Amalek hate. The hate crimes, all of these different things. Now, if the Most High has judgments with all of these different people and nations, and we're speaking these things upon them, that's going to be considered hate. And America's sensitive. They don't want you to touch or bruise or say anything that's politically incorrect, and they put their hand over their mouth, and they try to hinder the work of the Lord, man. But we're going to speak the truth in the last days. Hey, the Lord said the tongue is a world of iniquity, man. And they're speaking lies and creating decrees that try to stop and hinder the building of the work of the Lord, man. And we're not going for that. And let me get this quick precept. And what's crazy is they're trying to play the victim. Like Amalek is just getting so bruised by the society and so much hate, as if they're fulfilling prophecy. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, man. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 25, and verse number 7. And he would destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people. So the so-called white man has put a covering cast over all people. All people means the world. He has covered up who he actually is. He's not saying I am Esau, one of the ancient dukes of Edom, of Mount Seir, who traveled from Mount Seir through my dwelling resting place to the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia, where then I inhabit and took down the Etruscans and stole Italy and inhabited Rome and spread out from there. Or from Macedon, from my father, Philip, and Alexander the Great, and I split it between 4 generals. He's not saying these things, man. You know what he's saying? He's saying he's Dutch, he's Britain, he's Italian. Or he's saying he's an Israelite, man. Or saying that he's coming from the 12 tribes. They literally have a 12 tribes chart of Esau, man. Let me see if I can find that, man. This madness. I don't even know how to find it, man. If I could find it. Let me see if I can find it. I may not be able to find it. But Esau got a damn 12 charts, 12 tribes chart, man. Complete madness. See if I can find this thing. Man, he got a 12 tribes chart. So Esau is just trying his hand in the last days, man. He's trying to be everybody. He's covering up his identity. He's a vagabond on the earth, man. But let me go back to it. It says, and the veil that spreadeth over all nations. And what is a veil? A veil is literally like a head wrap or something to protect or hide your face. And he covers and spreads that over all nations, to have them to think that he's something actually than what he really is, man. Like he's an angel of light. Let me get the book. Man, matter of fact, let me get First Esdras. I want to get this quick precept. Because this is nothing new. Because they did the same things in the ancient world to hinder the building. Let's go to Second Esdras, the 2nd chapter. It's the book of First Esdras, right? Chapter 2, and I'm going to start at 28, right? And it reads, it says, now therefore I command to hinder those men from building the city. So they told them straight up in the ancient world, look, I command to hinder those men. Now to hinder men has to be what? It has to hold councils. Now councils have been had all the way from the ancient world. Nebuchadnezzar held councils. They held councils. Let me bring this out real fast. I'm going to hold a couple precepts. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 10. Because council was a big thing in the ancient world. They would have council a lot. In the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire. And we even hold councils, right? It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 8 and verse 10. Take counsel together and it shall come to naught. Because the Lord knows the ancient mind of kings and counselors that men take counsel and they hold counsel together. Okay, how can we strategize to take down the Israelites? Okay, we just can't take them and just shoot them all in the head or be an uproar. You know what? What should we do? That even happened with the chief priests, scribes, and Pharisees, man. They wanted to just straight kill the Lord, but they couldn't do that for fear of the people. So they had to brainstorm and counsel of way to bring him to the Roman Empire. So the Roman Empire could kill them. So counseling and strategizing and things like that with this government is very important on the left-hand side, man. That's how they create the creeds and laws and push forth death and have their craft to prosper. It says, take counsel together and it shall come to naught. Speak the word and it shall not stand, for God is with us. Meaning there's no counsel that you can counsel to come against the men of the Lord, man. I mean, that's the same spirit, right? In Numbers, the 22nd chapter, 23rd chapter, with Balaam and Barak. But let me get this quick precept too, in the book of Judith, the 2nd chapter. Because Nebuchadnezzar held councils with his men. It's the book of Judith, chapter 2, and verse number 1. It says, I'm going to start at 2. So he called unto him all his officers and all his nobles and communicated with them his secret counsel. So when Nebuchadnezzar was trying to take over the earth, he set down all of his men, his officers, his nobles, and he communicated them his will out of his mind on the left-hand side, his secret counsels. and concluded the afflicting of the whole earth out of his own mouth. Check that out, out of his mouth. So Nebuchadnezzar sat down with his men. What do you think the so-called white man does in the Senate house? You think the legislative branch and the old Roman pillars and things are just sitting up there for fun? Now you have old Edomite men in suits that sit down from the rising of the morning to the going down of the sun, how to afflict the earth, man. This is the same spirit that's on earth, right? Now let me get that. It's First Ezra chapter 2 and verse 28. It says, now therefore I have commanded to hinder those men from building a city, to heed to be taken, that there be no more done in it, and that those wicked workers, what do they call men that are minding their business, building up the temple, minding their business, building up the walls that were burned down from ruin by these nations? We didn't do anything to nobody, man. There's no account of the Israelites taking bats and we just knocking up all the old Edomites upside their head, man. That didn't happen. All we're doing is teaching out of the words of God, man. The same book you say belongs to you, the same book you says that is for all people, man. The same book that's printed throughout the whole earth in Barnes and Nobles, on Amazons, or all of these markets. It said that those wicked workers proceed no further to the annoyance of kings. So when we're out there working, it damn annoys the kings. The king looks from his high stature and looks on down. Look at those peasants. They're working. What do you think Esau do in them hot damn rises, man? They look down upon us. And we was literally, I believe, what was it? Indiana, Houston. We was somewhere through the spirit. And we're bringing out the words of God. We're teaching. We're shaking the hand. All the men of the Lord is in an uproar. Right? It was righteous. Right? The spirit of the Most High was dwelling and resting on brothers. And you had this Edomite on damn like the 18th floor. Cut it out. Stop. Go home. Niggers. Leave. Skit. Get out of it. Skaboo. Right? And she's sitting up there yelling and, damn, you gonna go to slavery. I mean, it's the same spirit, man. But we're talking about the kings. Don't think Joe Biden is just twirling around in an old chair with a cigar in his mouth, man. We have lieutenants and men under him that are delegated throughout all of the different cities, bringing him intel about what's going on. And these are the workers, which are us in the last days, building up the ruins. Right, let me get another precept. I'm going to go to the book of First Ezra chapter 5 and verse 70. So hindering the building has been something that's been going on for ages, man. It's the book of First Ezra chapter 5, and I'm going to start at 70. It says, then Zerubbabel and Joshua, the chief of the families of Israel, said unto them, it is not for us and you to build together in house unto the Lord our God. And what's the crime into building up for the Lord, man? We ourselves alone will build unto the Lord of Israel according as Cyrus, the king of the Persians, have commanded us. Now, an important thing about Cyrus was the king. Cyrus was the top man. But even men under Cyrus were troubling Cyrus and damn counseling against Cyrus after he gave the decree for us to build, man. The Lord had to tap into this king's mind, which is Cyrus, through many precepts. You know, Isaiah the 46th chapter, Isaiah the 45th chapter, various other precepts, Isaiah 41 all the way down. We could keep going. Because it was prophesied that Cyrus, through the spirit, would be able to be that person, or that king rather, for us to build up the ruins of old and give the decree. Nevertheless, his own men that were under him hindered us from building and didn't respect the king. That's how much they hated us. And the Most High was using Cyrus. It wasn't that Cyrus was some damn prophet, man, or Cyrus was the elect, or Cyrus was the only righteous heathen. Let me get this quick precept, man. Then I'm going to go back to that. That's how much their hate is for Israel, that you go against your own king to continue to hurt Israel, man. That's like Joe Biden saying nobody touched the so-called black man ever again. If you do it, it'll be a problem. This is a decree in our kingdom, the United States. Then the generals are going to start itching with their choppers and their guns. They'll start looking around. They're going to get that damn nigga itch, and they're going to go out and do their business, man. right? Let's go. It's Ezra chapter 4 and verse. I'm gonna start at 4. It says, "Then the people of the land weakened the hand of the people of Judah." How was that possible if Cyrus gave the decree and troubled them in building and hired counselors against them to frustrate the purpose all the days of Cyrus, the king of Persia? How did Cyrus give a decree, but then you have men that would hire counselors coming against Cyrus? That's how you know that they're damn play. The Lord said, "A kingdom divided shall not stand," man. And what's more divided than America? What's more divided than the United States? What's more divided than their laws, their customs, and their allegiance, man? They don't even know who they want to be confederate with anymore. They're just shooting dice. Who want to bang with us, man? We're on our last leg. They're just shooting dice, man, at this point. They're in Five Eyes. There were all of these different alliances, but you can alliance throughout the whole earth. It's not going to save you, man. Going back to 1 Ezra chapter 5 and verse 71, I'm going to start at 72. It says, "But the heathen of the land, lying heavy upon the inhabitants of Idumea, and holding them straight, hindered their building, and by their secret plots." So what's taking down the Israelites? Secret plots. You can't take down Israel immediately, man. It takes strategizing. I mean, that's even in numbers. That's even in the law, man. Let's go to Numbers chapter, what was that, 23 or 24? Salaki, bear with me. 23 and 23. It says, "Surely there was no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, God," Salaki, what have God wrought, man? So you can't come against Jacob, nor enchantment. It says, "Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion." That's a prophecy. And we're rising up right now like a great lion. The Lord said, who shall rouse them up, man? Who's going to rouse up Jacob? Who's going to do it, man? Who's going to stand up for the Lord? Who's going to die for the Most High, man? Who's going to teach until their lungs give out? Who's going to prophesy to the four winds of the earth? Who's going to stand up like Jeremiah did, man? Suffering to be put in a dungeon, has stocks laid upon him, and his own countrymen trying to kill him, man? Who's going to walk around destitute of hunger and thirst like the apostles to fulfill the will of the Heavenly Father? What woman is going to hold down her husband through rain, sleet, and snow, man? Not eating and traveling, being righteous like Sarah did, man, in the mountains in the last days, man. Not questioning a damn thing, but putting a trust in her husband as unto the Lord, man. Who's going to fulfill the things that our forefathers did? Because somebody got to do it. It says, "And lifting up himself as a young lion, he shall not lie down." I'm going to read that again. "He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey." Who's the prey, man? These nations. Esau's the prey. Moab's the prey. Ammon is the prey. Ishmael is the prey. Japheth is the prey, man. We're not lying down. Once we get up as a nation, you have to kill us, man. You have to put us down. Because prophecy tells you and shows you that we're not going to stop teaching, man. You can't jack down our spirits with sorcery and with them being scared, man. Because the elect isn't going to be scared. Maybe certain men that snuck into this truth with their fringes on, their meat trees, and they came in for women. They came in for stardom. They came in for all of these different things. Maybe those men could get shooken. Maybe those men will bow down. Maybe those men will play the flute and the tabret. It says, "And drink of the blood of the slain," man. So the Lord is telling you straight up, these men are lying down. It says, "And by popular, and by their secret plots and popular persuasions," meaning they'll persuade different men to accustom to their wills and commotions. They hindered the finishing of the building all the time of King Cyrus lived. So they, were hindered from the building for the space of 2 years until the reign of Darius. So until the reign of Darius, you understand what happened, man? It was hindered. Now, I want to go back to this real fast. I know it's a little bit more on this video, but I want to touch on this other article. It says Biden established interagency task force to combat heating cause from U.S. Amalek groups. So Amalek is so strong as a nation on the left-hand side that it's jacking up the government. That's how you know they rule the earth. Because last time I checked, we've been oppressed for 500 years, man. But where's our cause and our posters and our marching done for the U.S. government? But Amalek is over the earth on the left-hand side. The Lord said the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He cover up the faces of the judges thereof. If not where, then who is he, man? It says the groups would develop a national strategy. Now, isn't a national strategy the same thing as secret plots and persuasions? Isn't that the same thing? We can't look at these articles. Oh, national is a good idea. You know what? That hate speech has to stop. Because God loves the world that he gave his only begotten son. No, if you want to go back into Christianity, you're going to be led astray as an ox to the slaughter, man. And the Lord said the group would develop a national strategy. A national strategy is counsel. The same thing that we read these ancient kings did on the left-hand side to take down the children of Israel. It says to counter you know what, as an announcement comes hours after U.S. Jew establishment groups express deep concern with the FB, you know what, man. It said that Amalek is showing deep concern. Now, if Amalek is on the phone, that's like a damn angel was on the phone to the society, man. Oh, we can't. Everybody's scared of Amalek, man. You can't say certain words. They're controlling everything. They'll take down your channel. They'll lock you up, right? It took, what's his name? Kyrie Irving, man, for him to be able to pay over $500,000 and to apologize. And they seized all of his goods, man. Kanye West. They took all of his money and canceled them out from his contracts and things that he was making money for, man. You got Nick Cannon. If Nick Cannon didn't apologize and damn get back on them stage, put back on them clinky shoes and start dancing like you ought to, boy, I'm taking everything from you, man. And what do they all do? Right? Hey, a lot of them bow down, man, because they raise up the black buck just to break him in front of all the niggas, man, so everybody else could feel. They'll take the strong black man of the family, they'll bend him over, right? Butt breaking, huh? Buck breaking. This is a real thing. It's rape. Straight up. I don't think rape is always physical, man. Because you can mentally take somebody down. Mentally seize their mind. Mentally, man. Now, he will whoop the so-called black man so bad as he took advantage of his flesh in front of everybody so they would know and that they would fear, man. That's mental. It's more mental than it is physical. Because I'm sure a lot of men would physically go through certain pain for their family. But the mental aspect of it will weigh on you forever. And that's Sirach, the 28th chapter. And certain things you say, they'll break you down, man. Like sticks and bones and whips to the flesh. You may have a scar that may heal, or a bone that broken that you put a cast on. But certain things somebody may say to you, they may not ever leave you. They may always trouble you. Let me go back to it. So knowing these things, it says express deep concern with the FB. New release hate crimes report from 2021. It says this. Let me see if I get straight to the point. Bear with me. It says this strategy will raise understanding about anti and the threats it possesses to Amalek communities. And all Americans address anti-harassment abuse, both online and offline. So, I mean, they're telling you over and over and over that this is the new thing that's being pushed. That they're literally shutting down what you even damn get to say, man. Now, going to the Southern Poverty Law Center, SPLC, and I brought this out in time past, that you have hate groups that are being tracked. Now, going into their hate groups, they got all of America hate groups are being tracked down. So you may have a favorite camp, whether it be in Florida, Texas, California, District of Columbia. The government is analyzing and zeroing in on men that are hate groups, man. This is a government website. So how do government men in their society know about men that are janitors, men that work a damn 9 to 5 and they're sweeping up trash, men that are struggling to keep a job, man? Because we're the threat of the society. When we raise up, it's not Moab. That's not the real threat. Ammon isn't the real threat. Russia isn't the real threat. You're the real threat, and they know that. Let me go to it. So in District Columbia, you got GMS. You got Israel United in Christ. General Hate Group, Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Huh? So they even know their location. So you may say, well, how? Esau's never been in the building. You got Watchman for Israel out of Baltimore. It says General Hate, man. Now it says General Hate, and I'm going to go to it. Hey, the Lord said, let me get this quick precept, man. Hey, man, I'm moving in the spirit of David. Hey, David said, let me get it. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 139, and verse 19. It says, Salaki, bear with me. I'm going to start at 20. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee. And am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee, man? So David said, yeah, I hate. You can hate according to the Bible. Who said you can't hate? You should hate wickedness. You should hate wickedness and love the good. It says, do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? Am I not grieved with those that rise up against thee? I hate them with a perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. So David had enemies, and David hated. Yet David had a heart after the Most High's own, man. And the Most High hates. Hey, did not the Lord say, let me get this quick precept, man, before I read this. Second address real fast. Let me get this quick precept. Second address, chapter 16. We're commanded to hate, man. If you don't hate, you're not in this truth. Straight up. I'm telling you straight up. I don't believe that. I don't know about that one. This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 16, and verse number 50. So shall the righteous hate iniquity. So what does it mean to hate something, man? And what's iniquity? Iniquity is sin. Did not the Lord say there is a man of sin in the Bible? Who's the man of sin? Esau. So you can't say, well, I don't hate him. I mean, that's a little brutal. I just keep the commandments. Let's just keep it down a little bit. We're not keeping it down, man. The Lord said, I shall never give sleep to my eyes, man. It says, so shall the righteous hate iniquity when she decketh herself and shall accuse her to her face. Who is the her? America. When she decketh herself. How does America deck herself? Read the book of Revelation, the 17th chapter. Matter of fact, let me get that real fast, man. So yeah, we hate. You can put us on any list. Put our damn faces on the boards. Put our wives' faces. Put our children. We don't care. This is what we signed up for, man. Now, when we first came into the truth, we didn't understand how deep this was. We didn't perceive the spirit that the Most High will put us in and the prophecy we was getting ourselves into. But as we increase in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the men and women of the Lord, I mean, we ready for this thing, Most High willing. Now, with any given second, the Most High could take that spirit off of man. Lord could take that spirit off of me, cast me down, and destroy me. Take that spirit off of this brother or that brother. So that's why we have to endure and fear the Most High, that the Most High has mercy upon our souls and spirits in the last days to be like Judas Maccabeus, man, to be like Simon, to be like Jonathan. You understand? To be like David, man. It says, it's the book of Revelation 17 and verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. Now, that scarlet-colored beast is from Revelation, the 13th chapter, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked. Hold on, there go that word decked again. Hold on. When she decketh herself, so according to the Bible, we're supposed to hate America. We're supposed to hate the so-called white man. We're supposed to hate iniquity, man. So you can't say that we're general hate and this is going against the society when the Most High goes against the society. The Most High goes against your conspiracy theories, your lies, your manipulation and sorcery, man. Hey, the Most High laughs at destruction and loveth judgment, man. You don't know the Most High. It says, scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones. It says she's decked with precious stones. Now, going back to this, it's the book of 2nd Ezra 16 and 50. So shall righteousness. Who are the righteous? The elect is the righteous. The men, women, and children that sigh and cry for the atrocities done. When she cometh, that shall defend him that diligently searcheth out every sin upon the earth. So the Lord is diligently searching sin. The Lord didn't forget. He's not asleep. So going back to this general hate on the Law Center, it says these hate groups peddle a combination of well-known hate conspiracy theories. So when did the truth become a conspiracy theory? Let's look up that word, man. Damn, conspiracy theory, man.
Conspiracy theory.
This is the definition of a conspiracy theory. A belief that some secret but influential organized, right, is responsible for an event or phenomenon. So they're calling this truth a phenomenon, man. Like this is a fad. Or this is some type of damn trend, man. No, this is the Israelites waking up in the last days. And they're calling it a conspiracy theory. In addition to unique bigotries that are not easily categorized, several of the hate groups seek to profit off their bigotry by selling miscellany of hate materials from several different sectors of white personality movement. This place is finished, man. Right, I got another. I wanted to go back to this video, but before I did that, I wanted to get this quick precept. I'm gonna get the classic in 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse number 7. It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." Now, you may say that this place or this is going to happen years and years and hundreds of years and thousands of years from the day. Well, brother, you got to be watching because these things are happening right before our eyes. The great insurrections that's happening in these cities are making its way slowly but surely into Babylon. It says they shall be like madmen, sparing none. Because why is it going to be like madmen, sparing none? Right now, they have to hide their horns. They're hiding behind their suitcases, their suits, their white sheets from the KKK. They hide them behind so-called titles like your manager, supervisor. But in the last days, man, they're not hiding it anymore. They hide it with strapped up things that say SWAT or US or Navy or policeman. But in the last days, when the popular persuasions and councils decree for different laws to get passed, that you can do these things they've been feeling and beholding within themselves for so long, it's over. They're going to be like madmen, sparing them. That's like us right now. We hate the so-called white man. We hate these different nations. But we have to kind of tuck it in ourselves because the Most High didn't give us the decree yet to kill. He didn't give us the decree yet to overcome. He didn't give us the decree yet to take down these nations and put them in slavery. So we're just waiting. If the Most High said, charge, go. In ancient warfare, you had a king or a leader or a general, rather, that would stretch forth his hand and everybody would charge. You see that in old ancient movies. That's in the Bible, man. Let's go to the book of Joshua. Let me get this quick precept. So when they get a decree, all hell was going to be breaking loose, man. Because you've been feeling this way for years and generations. This Joshua chapter 8, verse 18. It says, and the Lord said unto Joshua, stretch out thy spear that is in thy hand toward Ali, for I will give it into thy hand. So before the Most High, through the Spirit, it's like these men charged into the city, they had to wait for the Most High and they had to wait on Joshua. Because when Joshua stretched forth his hand and his spear, everybody charged because everybody was ready. Don't think it's not a just balance with everything. These men are waiting for the government to give the charge. They're waiting for the police to be let loose, the government to be let loose, like damn wild dogs. It says, and the Lord said unto Joshua, stretch out thy spear that is in thy hand toward Ali, for I will give it into the hand, thine hand. And Joshua stretched out a spear that he had in his hand toward the city. And the ambush arose quickly out of their place, and they ran as soon as he had stretched out his hand. I'm going to read that again. And they ran as soon as he had stretched out his hand. Meaning, as soon as he gave the decree. And they entered into the city and took it and hasted and set it on fire. So those men were ready. So just like the great insurrections and things being built up, these men that are going to be like madmen sparing none, which is the government and Esau, they're already ready. They're just waiting for the decree to stretch forth their hand, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. It says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. And so like it, then shall there be known who are my chosen. So the Lord said, when these things come to pass, not right now, not because you cook your husband unleavened bread. You come in the house, you cook some unleavened bread, you put a little honey over top of it. Right now you feel like you're righteous, man. Not because you don't went outside and you was in the snow and you taught. That don't mean you the Most High's true chosen. Not because you wore a fancy garment on a feast day, now. Not because you made a video. And a lot of people liked it. The Lord said when these things kick off, when they start to come into your house and seize your goods, and it's talking about one direct people, the chosen. The Lord said many are called, but few are chosen. So this isn't just to all Israel. All Israel are going to suffer in Jacob's trouble. Everybody's going to go through hell and tribulation. But nevertheless, at this degree of Esau as a madman, he's going to direct that spirit unto Israel. The Lord said, he that is spiritual judge of all things. So, I mean, you could literally look at a brother just like Saul's servants did and see that he had a spirit or a countenance on him. Huh? You know, the same way we're going to be able to look at Esau as he looks at us. They're going to know the righteous. Our light is going to be shining. It says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Meaning what? From that point on, you're going to be led away to concentration camps and being put in the fire, which goes to Wisdom of Solomon, right? The 2nd chapter, which goes to Revelations. You understand 2 and 10, which goes into the hour of temptation and the furnace of adversity. So these things are going to heat up in the last days, and it's all starting by these small decrees and these small persuasions and counsels that are happening right before our eyes. We got to continue to watch and not be led astray You understand by this affecting in this life. Let me get about 2 more and close out. Well, let me get the book of Revelation, chapter 2. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So the Lord says you have to be faithful unto death. And you have to suffer that tribulation to the point where your blood is shed, man. And that sacrifice is given. That blood has been purged and you have been received up, you understand, to the third heaven to receive your white garment and crown, man. But that's only to the faithful that can endure into the end, that push forward, and that are on fire for the Most High. Right? Let me get my last closing precept. And Most High will, I could do a part 2 on this because everything is heating up, man. Things are heating up in the last days. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse 2. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. So whatever is ready to die on you, your prayer, your reading, your fasting, your understanding, your zeal, right? Your love for the Most High. If these things are dying off, you need to strengthen them up. It says, for I have not found thy works perfect before God. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So if you're not watching and staying truthful in this truth, the Most High is going to visit you like a thief in the night and blow your candlestick out. So continue to watch, pray, and fast through the Spirit and maintain your righteousness in the last days and get ready through the Spirit with increasing faith and zeal for what's coming to pass on the earth. And with that, I'm going to close out giving all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, Malak Yahushua, Shalom.